Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and weekend review, reviewing this weekend's Premier League and Championship action. Let's get straight into it with Saturday with the Premier League action and Southampton losing 1-0 to Manchester United at St Mary's. The only goal of the game coming through Bruno Fernandes in the second half in the 55th minute. And yeah, on the whole, I would say it's quite an even game really. Southampton may feel hard done by that they didn't come back with at least a point. But United's just about getting a win. That's 2 wins in the trot for them, real momentum boosting now. And yeah, you feel like can go on around. Like I say, Southampton, I think they'll be frustrated they didn't get a point here. But moving on then to the Etihad, Man City 4, Palace 2 was scored. Palace took a shock 2-0 lead for an own goal from Stones and then Anderson in the first half, but Silva and a hat-trick from Haaland sealed the win for Man City. And yeah, City just really showing how clinical they can be, deserving of the win here, you'd have to say. Dominated the game really, and yeah, they'll be absolutely excited to come back, and it just shows how good they are really. Palace, frustrating, but huge positives that they came to and the Etihad and were competitive for that long against City really. Liverpool 9, Bournemouth 0 was the score at Anfield. And yeah, I'm just going to run through the scorers quickly. Diaz, Elliott, Trent, Firmino, Van Dijk, Mephamone goal for Mourinho and Carvalho, Diaz again, and just no Salah on the score sheet. Kind of like my FPL, but yeah, Liverpool here were just absolutely amazing. We've been waiting to see this Liverpool for a while, and it finally came. And boy, oh boy, did we see what they can do. They just need to do it now more consistently, and they can challenge Man City really. But yeah, Bournemouth, I don't know what to say. Scott Parker needs no additions and fast. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1 was the score at Stamford Bridge on Saturday in the Premier League. Conor Gallagher was sent off for 2 yellows in 6 minutes in the first half. Really poor for him, but Sterling kind of saves Chelsea in the second half with goals in the 47th and 63rd minute. Harvey Barnes pulled one back, but 10-man Chelsea just about held on despite Leicester piling on the pressure, and that's a big one for them. Showed the mental fortitude they've got inside, but for Leicester, even with how poor their squad is looking at the moment, they've got to be getting something out of that with Chelsea down to 10 men for so long. But anyway, moving on, Brighton 1, Leeds 0 was the score at the Amex on Saturday in the Premier League. The only goal again coming in the 66th minute through Pascal Gross. And yeah, on the whole, I'd say Brighton, it was a close enough game, but I think Brighton just about deserved it. And it caps off just a brilliant start to the season for them. They got 10 points from their 4 games. Leeds 7 points from their 4. 2 teams having a really solid start to the season. But Brighton is a huge one for them, and they just keep on building momentum, don't they? Moving on then to Brentford 1, Everton 1 at the Brentford Community Stadium. Anthony Gordon and Manon Tamard gave Everton the lead in the 24th minute before Janel in the 84th minute pulled one back for Brentford and got the equaliser. And yeah, I think Brentford probably were the better side here. I think Thomas Frank said 9 times out of 100 they would have won that. But yeah, in the end they didn't. I think Everton going into this one probably would have taken the point. So good result for them. Brentford will be a bit frustrating, but not the end of the world to come from behind to the stature point, I suppose. Talking aside to come from behind, but this time went on to win it. It was Arsenal. Mitrovic gave Fulham a lead in the 56th minute, shocking lead, and Odegaard and Gabriel were 2 late goals sealing the win for Arsenal. And nothing short of what they deserve. They were outstanding here and finally got their reward late on. And brilliant start from Arsenal. They're still going 12 points from their 4 games so far. Yeah, perfect record, absolutely fantastic. For Fulham, at the end of the day they lost, and I think they'll be frustrated considering the position they were in. But the fact they're so competitive here is still a massive positive for them. Wolves 1, Newcastle 1 was the score on Sunday in the Premier League. And yeah, Wolves taking the lead through Neves in the 38th minute, and also had a goal disallowed in the 82nd minute through Jimenez to put the game to bed. But St Maximin in the 90th minute, just about sealing a point for Newcastle. And yeah, Newcastle will be delighted with that, because when you look at the game, you'd say Newcastle probably were deserving of at least a point here, maybe even the win, so they'll be delighted with that. Wolves are frustrating not to hold on, they're in a relegation zone, but Newcastle, good point for them. Moving on then to Villa Park, where West Ham finally picked up their first win of the season, and yeah, they much needed that without getting a point. 4-0 was really the only goal going in the 74th minute. On the whole, I'd say a draw maybe was a fair result here, but West Ham just about grinding it out, and they'll be delighted with that, because like I said, they really needed those first points. But yeah, for Villa, they'll be super frustrated, and for me, already early in the season, the pressure is starting to go on Steven Gerrard, because let's face it, it's been a really, really poor start for them. But moving on then to Forest 0, Tottenham 2 at the City ground. Harry Kane kind of stole the show here for good and wrong reasons really. 5th minute he scored, 56th minute he missed a penalty, and 81st minute he scored again to give Tottenham in the end a pretty comfortable win. Forest did huff and puff a bit, but yeah, you'd say Spurs just had more quality here, and it brings them up to third on the table, and that's a really, really good start for them. Forest in 14th, 4 points from 4, not a bad return, just kind of like with all the new signings, it's taking a bit of time for them to embed themselves really, I suppose. But anyway, moving on then to the Championship, and starting off with the Friday night game where it finished Luton 1, Sheffield United 1. Morris with the goal in the 10th minute gave Luton the lead, before McBurney in the 53rd minute levelled it out for Luton, and yeah, in the end I think both teams will be relatively content with that. Luton with a team high up in the table visiting them after a slow start, to get a draw, yeah, I think they'll be really pleased with that. But Sheffield United, a tough place to go, we know how tough Luton away can be, so I think, yeah, on the whole they'll be very pleased with that too, so I think a game that both teams will be very happy with. Moving on then to Sunderland and Norwich 1 at the Stadium of Light, and yeah, Josh Sargent with the only goal of the game in the 76th minute, and yeah, he's going for a right purple patch at the moment, isn't he, Sargent? I think he'll be absolutely delighted with that, really hitting his form in the Championship now after a tough season in the Premier League. But yes, Sunderland with all the chaos going on over Alex Neil and whether he's leaving, I think they'll be disappointed to lose. It was a close game, but against the Norwich side it's really improving, and I don't know if they would have expected much more really, but still disappointing, I think you'd have to say, for them. Moving on then to Middlesbrough taking on Swansea at the Riverside, and Middlesbrough secured a much needed win after a really slow start to the season. McGree and Crooks with goals in the first half an hour gave Middlesbrough a good base, and a Joel Pirro penalty late on left them hanging on, but Cabango was sent off in the 87th minute, and that kind of put paid to any hopes Middlesbrough had of having a point. And on reflection, it was a close game. Maybe Swansea will be frustrated they couldn't get a point, but Middlesbrough is a much needed win for them, and Chris Wilder's men really need to take momentum from that one now. Moving on then to Cardiff, and they were drawing 0-0 with Preston, which if you follow Preston this season, that's really, really not a shock to you. Preston, what is it now, 6 games and 0 goals conceded and 1 goal scored, just absolutely ridiculous. And Cardiff, they were the best team here, really should have scored at least 1 goal, but Preston's showing defence coming up trumps again, but I think a more experienced attacking line here definitely would have won that game, so I think Cardiff will be frustrated with this result, probably without a shadow of doubt really. Wigan 1, Burnley 5 as a score at the DW Stadium on Saturday in the Championship, and yeah, what a brilliant result this was for Burnley. Rodriguez and Brownhill gave them 2 early goals before Wilkie pulled one back just before half time from the spot, but Teller and Brownhill and Bastian with goals for Burnley sealed a crushing victory, and the stats really don't suggest to be 5-1, 18 goal attempts for Wigan compared to Burnley's 8, 6 on goal for Burnley, Wigan's 4, so yeah, just incredible. Burnley so clinical, and they much needed that result, but for Wigan, yeah, this was a huge concern. Moving on then to QPR, and they got a massive 3-2 away win at Watford, brilliant result for them. Chair gave them the lead before Summer equalised, Willock then gave them another goal, Pedro equalised, but Damon with the winner in the 70th minute gave QPR the victory. And QPR kind of struggled in the last few games, and that's a big win for them. Watford frustrated, I think they should have got something out of this one. But for QPR, that's a massive victory, and you give Michael Beale's men a lot of confidence for me, so I think they'll be absolutely delighted with that. Moving on then to Rotherham, as they continued their just remarkable starts to the season for them, with a 2-0 win against Birmingham, and this was quite comfortable to be honest. Wood in the 28th minute and the 71st minute, and Rotherham just the best team here, and joint top if they bloody win their game in hand, which is just remarkable. Really, I don't think the most optimistic of Rotherham fan could have predicted that. But for Burnley, had a vote first few games, ever since then it's kind of gone down the pan a bit. And I think they probably will be concerned with their starts of the season now. Another team who really couldn't have predicted their start of the season was Reading, top of the table at the moment, just absolutely incredible considering the embargoes and stuff like that they've had. Just a remarkable start for them. Naby Sarr on debut in 14th minute, giving Reading the lead, and in the end the victory. And on the whole, I think it was quite an even game really. Mill will be frustrated, I think they didn't come away with at least a point, but Reading top of the table, just a brilliant start. I don't think anyone would have predicted that. And then you've got Millwall down in 16th, not the start I think they'd have hoped for. I think that's pretty safe to say. Hull 3, Coventry 2 was the score at the KC Stadium. Estupiñán with a hat-trick for Hull in the 11th, 42nd and 56th minute. Goals from Coventry, both of them coming from Good in the 29th minute from the spot and the 69th minute in open play. Coventry, I think they'll be frustrated not to come away with something on this one. They had probably more of the game, but in the end, Hull were clinical. Estupiñán, there was some doubts over whether he could adapt to the Championship, but I think he's proved very firmly he can. Brilliant start for them, and Hull just keep marching on. Coventry, they're really poor. Moving on then to Huddersfield 2, West Brom 2 at the John Smith Stadium, and Huddersfield, I think they'll be gutted not to win this. They took a 2-0 lead through goals in the first half, but Jed Wallace with a brace pulled it back in the 57th minute, and in the end, West Brom with half an hour of the game level. I think they may be frustrated not to have gone on and won this, but West Brom still not maximising their potential, and Huddersfield, a team that's not looking great this season, to not hold on to 2-0 lead is really poor, to be honest. Moving on then to Blackpool 3, Bristol City 3 in a crazy game at Bloomfield Road. Barlow gave Blackpool lead in the 10th minute before Conway equalised. Yates then gave Blackpool lead again. Semenyo equalised. Bristol City then took the lead in the 70th minute before Cornbo equalised late on in the 90th minute to give Blackpool a draw, and on the whole I'd say a draw is a fair result. Bristol City, having led in the 90th minute, will be frustrated, but then Blackpool taking the lead twice will be frustrated as well. So I think both teams really felt like they could have won that gun, but in the end, not a lot to pick between the teams. Blackburn nil, Stoke 1 was the score at Ewood Park. The only goal coming in the 27th minute through Lewis Baker, and Blackburn, I think they dominated the game really. Stoke, just kind of sat back and soaked up the pressure well, and great win for them, much needed win for them after so short season. Michael O'Neill out, Alex Neil in, for me a really good appointment, but for Blackburn, ever since that brilliant start to the season, it's really gone off the ball for them, and John Hamilton really needs to sort it out and fast, to be honest. But anyway guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, let me know thoughts, comments down below. If you want to see football news and subscribe to my channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.